The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. The Presidential Task Force on Media Security has launched a probe into the killing of Pampanga-based journalist Jess Malabanan. The palace says it condemns in the strongest terms the, quote, cowardly killing of the veteran reporter who was shot at close range in Calbayog City. Task Force Executive Director Joel Eggo says Malabanan was a personal friend, and he says authorities will stop at nothing to bring justice for the slain journalist. The task force says Eggo has directed the PNP to thoroughly investigate this heinous crime. The official also vows to personally oversee the probe and to console the victims' friends and family. The Palace Task Force says it will also, quote, not sleep until the perpetrators are apprehended. And they say the PNP is now conducting a hot pursuit operation to find the suspects who fled the crime scene and headed northbound towards the direction of San Isidro, northern Samar. Authorities say that according to initial verification, Malabanan had no known enemies and was not a hard-hitting journalist. Ibon Foundation says the Philippines has the highest unemployment rate in Southeast Asia for the month of October. This despite the fact that local unemployment had already eased that month. The research group ranked the latest unemployment figures of Southeast Asian nations. The Philippines and Brunei topped the list with 7.4% unemployment rate, and they are followed by Indonesia with 6.5%, Timor-Leste with 0.1%, and China with 4.1%. Recall that the unemployment rate in the Philippines dropped to 7.4% back in October, compared to the same period last year. And this means that the number of unemployed Filipinos declined by almost 309,000 to 3.5 million in October. In a bid to further pull unemployment down, the Labor Department is now holding a 2-day nationwide job fair. In an interview with Radyo 5, Labor Assistant Secretary Dominique Tutay says the job fair is a mix of in-person and online. And she added that around 30,000 local jobs are up for grabs, with some companies hiring on the spot. She also urged people to visit the DOLE website to know more about the fair.
December 8, yung pong nationwide po natin na job fair. May hybrid po, merong face-to-face for the first time. Sinimulan natin yan nung Lunes dito sa National Capital Region. And then meron din pong online na tinatawag po natin na job fair na ongoing pa rin po hanggang ngayon.
Meanwhile, Tutay says there are around 7,000 vacancies for Filipinos overseas, which include jobs in the health sector, manufacturing, and construction.
Meron po tayong naitala na mga around 7,000 job vacancies for overseas. Mga construction-related, meron din pong pangangailangan sa manufacturing sector, and then meron pong pangangailangan for registered nurses.
France has just been added to the Philippines' red list following the European country's detection of more Omicron cases. But as for domestic travel, activity is slowly catching up to pre-pandemic levels. Gerard de la Peña reports.
The country's main gateway is now teeming with passengers, a far cry from how it was last year, even in the thick of the holiday season. As provinces and destinations ease restrictions, many Filipinos are taking advantage either to take that much-needed rest or visit family for the holidays. Even airlines are slowly increasing capacity to pre-pandemic levels. But the threat of the Omicron variant is still stalling return to full capacity. Protocols remain strict for international passengers, with arrival cap maintained at 4,000 daily due to limited quarantine facilities.
Ito naman pong measures na to hindi na po bago sa Bureau of Quarantine at sa lahat po ng agency na nag-aalaga sa mga papalik nating mga kababayan, dahil ito rin po yung measures na ginawa natin nung panahon po ng Delta.
Seafarer Angelito, who arrived from North Africa, had to spend 7 days in a quarantine facility, time which she says should have been spent with the family.
Kakainin niya yung vacation mo pagka tsaka napakahaba naman kasi masyado. Iklian na lang sana yung yung quarantine. So para ma-enjoy naman ng umuwi yung kanilang vacation. Para makaspend ng time sa family ba.
But for George, it's better to be safe.
Kailangan unahin muna natin yung safety natin. Okay. Kung nagmamadali kang umuwi tapos Hindi ka naman pala, kung may virus ka, di mahawa pa yung pamilya mo.
The Interagency Task Force is still looking at the possibility of cutting down the mandatory quarantine to just 3 days for passengers coming from select countries. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, we are One News.
The Philippine General Hospital says it remains prepared for another possible surge amid the threat of the Omicron variant. This despite the lower number of COVID-19 patients seen over the recent weeks. PGH spokesperson Dr. Jonas Del Rosario says there are no changes in their guidelines, though most of their patients are non-COVID. Del Rosario added that they are using the current slowdown in new cases to replenish their inventory and to prepare their rooms for possible surges. This as PGH is still primarily a COVID-19 referral center.
Ngayon lang po ay medyo nakakapag-alaga kami ng mas maraming non-COVID patients. Pero kapag kinakailangan din balik sa dati, i-flip lang naman namin yung aming mga tao at aming mga wards na maging COVID operations ulit.
Northport Batang-Pierre and the Alaska Aces opened their PBA Governor's Cup with an exciting match. Meanwhile, PBA Commissioner Willie Marshall hints at allowing fans inside the venue by next week. Marty Bautista has the report.
The PBA finally got the ball rolling for the Governor's Cup. After over a month of no PBA action, fans were treated to an exciting match between the Northport Batang-Pierre and the Alaska Aces. The game marked Arwin Santos' Northport debut after an off-season trade from the San Miguel Beermen. And the Spider-Man did not disappoint. He downed 23 points, leading Northport in a furious rally late in the fourth. Unfortunately for the Batang-Pierre, Alaska would go on to win 87-85 after a tough bucket from Robbie Herndon with 13.1 seconds left. Northport had plenty of chances to tie or win the game in the dying seconds, but were unable to convert. More good news for PBA fans. PBA Commissioner Willie Marcial hinted at having fans inside the venue by next week. This was after Pasay City approved the league's proposal. Fans, though, must be fully vaccinated to watch the games live. For News 5, Marty Bautista. We are One News.
Christmas trees are becoming more and more expensive every year. And experts say climate change and supply chain issues are to blame. Let's watch this.
Trucking is up double, sometimes more than that. So you're going to find across the board, the trees are just going up, 25%, probably at a minimum anywhere you go.
It's an unusual situation. It's a double whammy. Weather and supply chain problems are really hampering the industry.
Supply chain has definitely been challenging for the artificial Christmas tree market. We have to bring our products over from our factories, and that has been very challenging. You might have heard about the situation at the ports or the lack of truckers. All of that has impacted us, which means that we have fewer trees to sell as an industry.
Yeah, switching to artificial was a big choice or big decision. In the grand scheme of climate change here in California, this is really the way to go.
TikTok has released its year-end video, recapping 2021's most viral clips. MJ Marfori gives us the details.
As this year comes to a close, social media giant TikTok just dropped its annual year-end video, and it's bringing back so many feels. In the Philippines, the red light, green light challenge in Robinson's Galleria is hailed as the most popular video. An ASMR of grocery organization and a paper cutting art of Hollywood actor Tom Holland have also made the cut. in trending dances. Meanwhile, videos of young actress Andrea Brillantes and internet sensation Yana Guerrero occupy the top spots. One security guard also grooved his way to the list. In a statement, TikTok's Chief Operating Officer Vanessa Papas said that 2021 was a year of connection and discovering new things. So far, 1 billion users all over the world are part of the TikTok community. For News 5, MJ Marfori, we are One News.
Here's a quick look at some of today's headlines. The Octa Research Group says COVID-19 may become endemic by next year, but a medical expert says it's too dangerous to make such pronouncements. Tourism in Baguio is now picking up as the province gradually recovers from COVID-19. And in Bucharest, empty vials of COVID-19 vaccines have been repurposed to make a 10-foot Christmas tree like no other. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us later at 10:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.